Think fast. Is your business bringing in more work, but you're more stressed than ever? That's not success. That's a warning light. Because if your revenue is up, but your sleep is down, that's not scaling. It's straining. And the reason is almost never because you can't handle the pressure. It's that growth is exposing the parts of your business that were never meant to carry this much weight. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you where service businesses crack during growth. I'm also going to share with you the 3 mistakes that make chaos worse and the simple structure that stabilizes growth so it feels lighter, not more fragile. You start getting more calls, you start getting more booked jobs, more money is coming into your bank account, and on paper, everything looks exactly the way you wanted it to. But internally, everything is tightening. Your schedule keeps turning into a puzzle you have to resolve every single time. Communication gets super sloppy. Crews show up without the right info, and the office is constantly just trying to keep up. Mistakes start to happen. Callbacks start to increase. Refunds and discounts begin to creep in. And while you are making more money, you're losing a hell of a lot more sleep. That is what we like to call scaling chaos. And here's the micro truth that most owners miss. Growth is exposing something that you can't see. Most owners assume that stress during growth is a normal thing. We tell ourselves every single cliche in the book. Hey, this is just the price I pay for success. Or this is what it feels like when you level up. Or my personal favorite, I'll just grind through this season. But here's the reframe. Growth doesn't create chaos. Growth exposes weak foundations. Because see, when volume is low, the weak systems can hide. You can patch problems mostly with effort. You can remember things in your head. You can essentially be the glue. But when the volume increases, those cracks start to widen. The thing that was fine at 20 jobs a month now turns into an absolute disaster at 60. So if growth feels fragile, it's not because you're doing something wrong by wanting more. It's because growth amplifies what already exists that you don't necessarily always see. Let's get specific about where scaling breaks service-based businesses. Service-based businesses are especially vulnerable because work is like a conveyor belt. The lead comes in, the estimate goes out, jobs overlap, crews are stretched thinner, materials arrive late, customers reschedule, the weather changes, the office, well, they're juggling 10 different things times 20 jobs. And without defined systems, more volume just equals more friction. Here are the 3 most common breakpoints that we see. Breakpoint number 1, ownership confusion. At small volume, everyone helps. At higher volume, everyone helps means that no one owns anything. The office assumes that the estimator is going to call the client. The estimator assumes that the office will schedule it. The crew assumes that dispatch told the customer already. Dispatch assumes that the crew already confirmed all the materials. And the customer, well, they just assume that you're disorganized. If no one owns the step simply doesn't happen. Breakpoint number 2. Handoffs multiplied. Every handoff is a chance to lose context. A lead comes in, it gets entered. Then someone calls it. Then someone books it. Someone does the walkthrough. Someone writes the estimate. Someone schedules it. Someone orders the parts or the materials. Someone dispatches it. Somebody invoices. Then someone collects. So if each handoff is informal, it's a text. It's a sticky note. It's a, I told that person yesterday. Then the business begins to bleed accuracy. Tasks get missed. Follow-up slip, invoices lag, and cash flow gets weird. Busy systems break faster than slower ones. Breakpoint number 3, communication is not standardized. Look, at low volume, you can get away with just call me if you need anything. At higher volume, that creates constant interruptions. Your phone becomes the workflow, and that means nothing is predictable. Customers don't know what to expect. The crew doesn't know the plan. The office doesn't know what's done. And you don't know what's true. Customers will feel it first, but owners will feel it the hardest. Before we go deeper into this, here's a real quick self-check. If any of these are happening, you're not bad at scaling. You're just scaling on an unstable base. You're double booking crews or you're reworking the schedule on a daily basis. Customers are asking the same questions because expectations haven't been set. Your team is pinging you for decisions that used to be automatic. Estimates piling up when jobs are busy. The term "we forgot" is starting to show up in your vocabulary. Your best people are frustrated because they're the ones that have to clean up a preventable mess. That's not personality. That's just process debt. And process debt, well, it collects interest while you're growing. Think about it. At 10 jobs a week, you can pay the interest with effort. At 25 jobs a week, well, that interest now might become mistakes. At 40 jobs a week, well, that interest now turns into churn. Your best techs quit. Your customers start complaining. cash flow starts to feel lumpy. Think of growth like turning up the water pressure in an old house. Higher pressure doesn't create new leaks, it just exposes the ones that were already there. So the goal is not to work harder, the goal is to make the pipes stronger. And here's a way to build stronger pipes. Number one, ownership. Every stage has an owner, and owners have a definition of what is complete. It's not, oh, I worked on that. Complete means updated, communicated, and handed off properly. 2, flow. Work moves in one direction with as few loops as possible. The loops, that's what creates the stress. A loop is when the office has to call a crew for info, or a service writer has to rewrite the quote because details are missing, or a customer has to reschedule because no one confirmed access. Every loop is time. Every loop is chaos. Number 3, feedback. You review reality weekly, so drift does not become normal. Not a long meeting, give it 10 minutes. What got stuck? Why did it get stuck? What do we do so it doesn't happen again? Stable companies don't avoid problems, they just catch them earlier. And if you want one practical takeaway today, it's this. Stop asking, how do we do more? Start asking, what breaks when we do more? Because when you identify what breaks, you can design around it. Here's a good example. If schedules are messy, don't try harder. Standardize job duration assumptions and confirmation steps. If communication breaks, don't text more. Create a single source of truth for job notes and a required checklist before something gets dispatched. If mistakes increase, don't yell louder. Tighten the definition of job ready before a crew rolls out or a tech gets started. Chaos is usually just missing criteria. And once criteria exists, training becomes faster, delegation becomes real, and growth stops living on your nervous system. Now let's talk about why this hits so personally. It's because scaling chaos feels like your fault. You wanted the growth. You pushed for that growth. You said yes to the ads. You said yes to the work. And now growth feels like a threat. So you start questioning yourself. You say things like, am I a bad leader? Did I hire too fast? Did I not hire fast enough? Is my team the problem? Is this just how business is? But the real issue, though, is rarely ambition. It's system maturity. You built a business that could produce work. Now you need a business that can process work. Growth without structure creates pressure, and that pressure is always going to find the weakest link in your business, whether it's dispatch, estimating, parts and materials, scheduling, follow-up, billing. Now, here's the most common reactions that make it even worse. Reaction number 1, hiring too fast without fixing process. And here's the thing, this feels totally logical. We're busy. We got to add people. We need bodies. But when the process is unclear, all you're doing is hiring people into confusion. They have no idea what good is. They have no idea what the standard is. So what do? They improvise. Improvisation at scale creates variability, and variability that creates mistakes. Reaction number 2, ownership inserts themselves into every single decision. When things start to wobble, the owner becomes the safety net. They approve every schedule. They answer every question. They answer every customer. They go in and they fix every estimate. They personally handle complaints. They double check the crew. And hey, it works for a week, but then what happens? The business becomes dependent on the owner. So growth doesn't increase your freedom. It increases the number of hours you have to spend in the business. Reaction number 3, working longer to compensate. You wake up earlier. You stay a little later. You become the human buffer. Sure, it creates short-term relief, but it increases long-term fragility. Because let's face it, you can't outwork structural weakness. If you feel like you're the only thing keeping the business together, you're not running a company, you're holding a dam. So what actually stabilizes growth? Businesses that scale cleanly don't focus on speed. They focus on clarity, because clarity creates stability, and stability, well, that creates capacity. Capacity creates growth that feels lighter. Here's the structure that stabilizes growth in most service-based businesses. 1, define who owns what by stage. Start with the core stages of your workflow. Think about it like this: lead received, lead booked, estimate completed, estimate sent, job scheduled, job completed, invoice sent, payment collected. Then assign one owner to each stage, not the office, a person, or a role. When ownership is clear, the flow-through becomes normal. Step 2, simplify workflows by reducing handoffs. Look at your process and ask this question: where does info change hands? Where do we rely on memory? Where do we re-enter the same data? Your goal here is not perfection. Your goal is fewer drops. Look, if one person can carry a task from start to finish, then let them handle it. If not, then create a standard handoff checklist, because every handoff needs a container. Step 3, standardize communication. You need 3 things standardized. First is customer expectations. What happens next every single time? Second, internal notes. This is where the truth lives every time. And finally, crew instructions. This is what does done look like every single time. The business calms down when everyone speaks the same language. Step 4, measure fewer metrics, but make them believable. Don't track 30 KPIs you don't trust. Track 6 that actually control the business. For your business, it might be something like this. Number 1, leads. Number 2, leads booked. Number 3, estimates set. Number 4, estimates accepted. Number 5, jobs completed. Number 6, cash collected. Then review them weekly. Same day, same time, same format. Stability is created by structure, not intensity. Now, where does AI actually help here? Look, I've said it before, I'll say it again. AI is not magic, it's leverage. And leverage only works when the foundation is strong. If your workflow is chaos, AI will do nothing but automate that chaos and make it even more chaotic. But if your stages and ownership are defined, AI can most certainly reduce coordination error. It can flag those bottlenecks like jobs stuck as scheduled with no crews attached to it, or estimates sent out with no follow-up scheduled. Materials or parts ordered late, invoices created but not sent, payments overdue with no reminder. It can highlight inconsistencies as well. Maybe an estimator is skipping a stage, closing out jobs without any notes, a dispatcher creating duplicate work orders. That's the real win. AI enforcing discipline quietly. Technology amplifies structure, or it amplifies weakness. Now the operator level difference. Small businesses treat growth like a win. More calls, more money, great. Operators, on the other hand, treat growth like a stress test. They ask, is this going to break? They ask, what's going to break first? Where are we relying on a hero? They might also ask, where is information living in someone's head? What happens if we add 20% more volume next week? This mindset is what separates durable growth from fragile growth. One more thing. Your stress, it's data. If you're constantly on edge, it usually means that your business is running on invisible work. In other words, things people do to compensate for missing structure. The goal of scaling is not to become tougher. It's to make the business require less toughness. When systems get clear, that same growth that used to feel like chaos starts feeling like momentum. It's the difference between a business that grows and a business that breaks. So if growth feels heavier rather than easier, I've made something practical for you. It's called the Scaling Stability Diagnostic Worksheet. It's a multi-page PDF that you can review in about 20 minutes. It helps you identify which parts of your business are fragile under increased volume and what to fix first. Inside, you'll see the most common failure points during business growth, a role and ownership clarity check that exposes confusion as volume increases, a workflow simplification checklist that will help you identify unnecessary handoffs and bottlenecks, a structural maturity assessment. This will help you to see if your systems can handle the next stage, and a prioritization guide so you fix the few changes that reduce chaos the fastest. So click the link in the description right now and go ahead and download your free Scaling Stability Diagnostic Worksheet. Run it on your last 30 days, and you'll know exactly what to standardize first so that growth starts feeling stable. And if you want more systems that reduce cash flow anxiety and make scaling feel calm, make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video.